Okay, well, I'm back here with Michelle. Great to see you again. And we're going to do two videos today. First one, oh, yes, clap of hands. Great joy. The first one might be a little heavy, so I hope you're ready for it. Um,
Totally. Got my coffee.
you got your coffee. I might need the coffee. Depends what you have to say. Uh, I've got a chapter on the whole issue of law, order, justice, all around that whole area, government, etc., etc.
Mhm.
And it comes to voting time, and out we come as good Christians, and there's always a Christian vote.
Mhm.
You and I know there isn't a Christian vote. When I was in Brazil, I said, you got a choice of two candidates, bad. I said, one is called bad, and the other one is called badder. So just decide, just decide which one it is, and then hey, go make your vote. And voting's important, of course.
Mhm.
Um, but let me just go straight in then, because I've made a statement without asking you. We both know. Do you agree with that? We both know there isn't a Christian vote has to be this way. Are there really alternatives for believers?
Absolutely. I think there's not, well, when it comes to, there isn't, that's a myth. I mean, there's not a Christian vote. Um, it just, yeah, no, there's not. No, I do think it's important if you're able to be, if you live in a part of the world that allows you to exercise your opinion and weigh in on things and you feel strongly about something, then it's important to live and to weigh in according to your conscience. But in terms of when you say a Christian vote,
Yeah,
that creates an in and an out that politicizes, and it does the very thing that Jesus, if Jesus was going to bring an earthly government by earthly means, he would have let them crown him king. And he
sure.
didn't. And they wanted to, but he didn't.
That's for sure. Let me ask you. I come to put my X on the paper against a candidate. What kind of things do you approach it as like guiding principles, i.e., not either this party or that party, but what kind of principles? What are you looking for?
Well, I look a lot at policy. I look at social justice issues are huge for me. And honestly, my vote and my position on like a political spectrum has really dramatically changed over the last decade. Partly because I was in a Christian bubble and I didn't really have a whole lot of focus in the United States because I didn't live here. I was working overseas. It just was, I'd show up, I'd put my, oh, everyone's saying this candidate's great, fine. I didn't really truly understand or grasp the subculture that was around at the different dynamics and the justice issues that were going on right here in the United States. If I wasn't here, I wasn't focused on them. If I was here, I was trying to leave. That was my goal. And now that I call the US home and this is where my focus is, oh my gosh, coming back into this culture and approaching it from a missiological point of view. And what I mean by that, not that I'm on mission to convert everybody I see, that's a little bit above my pay grade, but I'm on mission to understand. I'm on mission to listen and to understand culture. And when I started to listen to the dynamics on both the more conservative end and the more liberal end, I began to see it wasn't what was being told to me in my opinion, in my own estimation. Prayerfully considering care for the earth,
Okay.
environmental awareness, even more so social justice, all of these things that are really important and integral to kind of a biblical understanding of the world is yeah, they weren't getting addressed in ways that I agreed with on the right. So I changed. And then we
Okay.
had the whole last presidency of the last 4 years. And if that didn't cement my change,
Okay. So, in terms of change, what's the catalyst for you? And I appreciate people watching this. The catalyst for them might be something different.
absolutely.
But what were the catalysts for you?
The care of people. like taking care of people and being there to have a consistent narrative and a consistent ethic of social justice is truly where it kind of broke apart for me. And in the United States and on the right, which for a lot of our friends that might be listening from the UK or for Europe,
Yeah.
You all have a very different point of view than a lot of the folks on the conservative end here in the United States. And I'm a little bit more comfortable on your end than I am in my own country. Everything here, now I know that governmental taking care of people and whatnot, the far right here would be like, oh, that's socialist. That's really,
Yeah.
really bad. But I've spent enough time in other parts of the world that prioritize that can it be done poorly and can there be lots of
Sure.
problems? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Human beings are involved. But is it a bad idea? I don't think so. I think it's a really great idea. So it's just a lot of it's cultural and a lot of it is political versus really truly being ideological. Mhm.
So if I reflect back rightly, the catalyst for you is, or was rather, interaction with people, seeing it firsthand,
Mhm.
seeing the effects, having to rethink what you just taken as, is it just how it is?
Yes.
It's an obvious, and then suddenly it's like, oh, maybe it's not so obvious. So I rethink.
It's very it went from being this is and not talking racially, talking metaphorically black and white.
Yeah.
Um and although sometimes that does break down to
Yeah.
similar, but there's a lot of incredible amount of racial injustice that is baked into all of this here in the
Mm-hmm.
United States, which the whole world has had watched unfolding
Mm-hmm.
in pretty dramatic ways. But it was very cut and dry, it was very black and white. Whereas when I started talking to people that believe different things, it's not black and white. It's, it's about 5,000 shades of gray.
Yeah.
And it's not when we some of these issues and when we break them down and we distill them into this hard, this is right, this is wrong. Um we miss the nuance and we miss the humanity. And I think above everything, Jesus was about loving and caring for people in their humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to be about too when it comes to serving our communities. The other thing was also understanding that the change and the transformation that Christianity and especially evangelicalism in the United States really wants to see. Again, it kind of circles back to the conversation we had with the Seven Mountains,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not going to happen through legislating from without. It's going to happen from transformation and real relationships and walking alongside and meeting in the messy middle and being in that uncomfortable place of being able to acknowledge, hey, maybe I was wrong or uninformed, or at least
Yeah.
I was like I didn't have all the information.
Right.
So
I'm gonna pick you up there on, because I like it, the messy middle. Uh,
yeah.
you talked about meeting, interacting, listening,
Hmm.
seeking to understand, and it's a messy middle.
Hmm.
Let's go really messy middle.
All right, let's do
The
it.
big, the big, the big one issue, probably to be honest, both sides of the Atlantic, people often jump on as believers is, okay, I'm pro-life,
Mhm.
so I don't agree with the policies on X, Y, Z. I think you said America we say Z, X, Y,
Mhm.
Z. We don't agree with that, but this candidate is pro-life, and by that they mean they want to shut down all forms of abortion.
Right.
Okay, so they define pro-life very narrowly, for a start. But let's go for that one. How do you respond to that one? Because that is the big one for so many people.
I would say that it's probably 90% of the issues over here in terms of, if
Yeah.
not 99. I mean, it's, and number one, I approach it as I'm not a single issue voter. And that just by that one decision takes me people that are further right than I am, all of a sudden I'm in the oh my gosh or one of those.
Yeah.
So we and but yet you get on the other side and they do the same thing in
Yeah.
different ways. And so I think it's just as a context around this, in our humanity and in our brokenness, it is easy to take in one issue, make it the big deal, and then demonize anybody who has a different point of view than we do, especially if you are in like the evangelical right church in the
Yeah.
US and maybe overseas as well. They're very much, and when I was a part of that system, me too, in an echo chamber where everything is reinforcing
Yeah.
what is being said. And so we have to be willing, I believe this on a lot of issues, not just on pro life, on some other sticky ones as well. It is so important to get out of that. Number one, get with Jesus
Yeah.
and start listening people, not to convert them, not to change their mind, not to prove them wrong, not to trip them up, but to understand. You don't have to agree to listen to
Yeah.
understand. And so that's the big picture context. On this particular issue, and I'm going to get myself in all sorts of hot water, but the pro-life narrative as we have it in evangelical church here in America, and that's what I know, so that's what I'm going to talk to.
Okay.
Um, and I can hear some of you are gonna probably not like this, but this is my point of view and my opinion. Hear me out, and you don't have to agree with me. Just hear me out. But sorry,
I'll tell you
I
what we're
have a
going to
little.
do. I'm going to pause there. We're going to do a second video. Going to leave it hanging for people.
Okay,
What does
okay,
Michelle really believe? What does she really think? And we're going to come back to this because it deserves more than just a minute or so. So we'll
okay.
do a second one and let's roll it